If food's not a priority for you, go ahead and skip this video. You definitely shouldn't buy pasture-raised chicken. In fact, here are 5 solid reasons why it's not for you. I sell pasture-raised chicken, so you'd think I'd want everyone to buy it, but I don't. In fact, there are several reasons why you might not want to touch it. If these 5 things describe you, skip it. It's not worth it. Number 1, you don't care about transparency. If it's not important to you how your bird was raised, what the environment they were raised in, what they were eating in that environment, who was the person raising that bird, where was that bird processed at, and what type of maybe potential chemicals was that bird exposed to in that processing facility. If those things aren't important to you, then frankly, pasture-raised chicken is a waste of your time. When you buy pasture-raised, one of the things that you're buying is truth. You're literally, in part, paying for truth and for transparency. And if that's not something you value, then why bother paying for pasture-raised? If it's okay that you're not interested in who raised the food, what the standards were that they raised them under, were there multiple birds that were being brought into the same facility from multiple locations? If none of those aspects of transparency from start to finish in an operation and in the final food product that you're eating matter to you, then pasture-raised is not for you. Number 2, price is all you care about. Let me be clear about this. If your food decisions start and end with a price tag, you really are better off sticking to the store and letting the grocery stores, let them battle out between each other under a conventional model so that you can ultimately pay the lowest price possible. When you're looking at a pasture-raised product, pasture-raised is never going to win the price conversation. That's not the point. It's not meant to be a better price product because the value point is different in it. Understand that when you buy pasture-raised product, you're buying a completely different system. You're buying a system that requires more work, a different handling strategy and management strategy that ultimately, when you look at the amount of work that goes into that, that work has to be compensated at some level to get the end product that someone is looking for that truly is pasture raised. And so if all you see when you go to buy a meat product, especially a pasture raised chicken, if all you're interested in is the price alone, that's okay. But understand that if you're trying to also marry in pasture raised into the lowest price point, those two are never going to be consistent with each other because inherently they can't be. You can't have 2 different type of production systems, different processing systems that are going to give you an equivalent product. They're just not going to. And that's okay because you in many cases easily argued that you still need the conventional option for the masses. But if you're someone who is truly seeking out a pasture-raised product, then you have to acknowledge that you're going to have a difference in price point compared to what you get with conventional. Now, I want to be also clear on this. Do not take that and translate that into that the amount that you pay for a pasture-raised product should be exorbitant or should be a really high price. That's not what I'm suggesting here. All I'm suggesting is that if all you are looking at is price, then pasture-raised is not for you. Number 3, food is not a priority in your life. If you go through your day and you think about food as being what you need to consume to get through breakfast, what you need to consume to get through lunch and dinner, just something you need to satiate yourself, or something that you just sit down and eat when you're out with others. Like if that's the limitation of how you look at food, then pasture-raised is not going to align with that. Because ultimately you're treating food like it's a filler in your lifestyle. And it's just something that's simply giving you the ability to get to the next task or get on to the next thing that you need to do in your life. And some of you may even look at that and say, well, it's just an inconvenience. It's something I need to do, but I've got other things I want to put my attention to, so I don't prioritize food in my life. Well, I'll be honest with you, you're not the person that Pasture-Raised is raised for. Because if you're looking for cheap, fast, and just something that you're going to forget by the time you get to the end of that meal, then that doesn't align with Pasture-Raised. Individuals that are looking for a Pasture-Raised product are looking for a product that is going to align with their lifestyle because they're prioritizing health in their lifestyle. They want to see that they're going to have optimal outcomes from the foods that they're eating. They're making very intentional choices around food, and food is a priority. It doesn't mean that it's something that is thought about throughout the entirety of the day, but it's something that when you go to make breakfast or you go to make lunch or dinner, you're being very mindful about the selections that you're going with. And that means that food has become a priority. And Pasture-Raised that's where Pasture-Raised comes into the conversation of food selection. So if you prioritize food, Pasture-Raised makes sense. If you don't prioritize food in your life, then Pasture-Raised doesn't make sense. Number 4 is that you trust big labels more than small farmers. When you're going through a store and you're looking at that label, one of the things that you're doing is you're inherently in your mind creating a story behind that label that you see. And when you're doing that and you move forward with that food purchase, you've created an element of safety for yourself based on what you saw on that label. You feel comfortable with that. If that USDA stamp on there is what you need to see to give you that level of comfort, or maybe there's something on there that says vegetarian fed or whatever other marketing term is being used, if that gives you a level of comfort, then you're probably not going to seek out Pasture-Raised all the time. And you may even find comfort in just a label of Pasture-Raised on a product that you see sitting on a shelf. But probably what you're not doing here is you're not shaking hands with the people that are producing your food. And you're probably not willing to go outside of your box to do that because you feel a comfort in that label. But understand that labels are a byproduct of a marketing department. Within any organization and on any product, the marketing department knows what is going to speak to you as the consumer, and that's what they're banking on, that whatever they put on that label, you're going to take action on because whatever you saw allowed you to build trust with that product. But ask yourself, does it make more sense to try to build trust with a label or with a person? Now, if you feel like you can create all the trust that you need based on a label, then Pasture-Raised may not be for you. But if you're someone who seeks, again, that where I started with this, the transparency, if you want to know and put a name and a face together with your food supply, then you're looking to try to interface and interact with the small farms, with the producer directly. And so in that scenario, Pasture-Raised makes more sense for you because there's something there that you value about the product that goes just beyond the physical product. And if that doesn't resonate with you, then conventional still might be the better option for you. Where do you fall on that? You just have to ask these questions of yourself. Number 5, you're addicted to cheap now, pay later. If you've accepted this trade-off of cheap now and inflammation later, then keep going. But you can't act surprised when the system that sold you into this mindset and problem doesn't also give you a solution. And maybe it's because I have a background beyond what I do at the ranch in clinical practice, and this is so often the mindset that I'll just do the cheap thing now, but I won't give consideration to how this is going to impact my health down the road. If that's you, then you just got to acknowledge that that's the model you're comfortable with, but understand that down the road, there's going to be implications associated with that. However, if you're looking for as much nutrient density as possible, if you're the individual that says, I want to know that the constituents that are in that food, the things that make that pasture-raised food unique, those are going to be the things that are going to steer me away from chronic disease. Those pasture-raised foods are going to have those extra elements about them that are going to support my health and amplify my health and give me better years, to where, yes, I may pay more now on the front end, but I'm going to be paying much less on the back end. If that speaks to you, well, pasture-raised is probably where you want to lean into. But again, if you're that person that thinks, I'm just looking for the cheapest cost now, and whatever the implications of paying that lower price now are, I'm okay dealing with that, then don't buy pasture-raised, because you're setting yourself up for a false expectation, and you're always going to be regretful about that extra bit that you spend for that pasture-raised product, because it doesn't align with the way that you think. You're looking for cheap, and it can't be cheap and give you the highest level of health benefits. The two just aren't going to align. So you don't want to set yourself up for false expectations. If you've made it through all 5 of these reasons and thought, well, that's not me at all, then you're probably exactly the kind of person who should buy pasture-raised chicken. And if you're looking for a resource for that, go ahead and check out harvesthillsranch.com. But if you're still curious or on the fence, I made a second video with 5 more reasons as to why you definitely should not consume pasture-raised chicken. Watch that next one. It just might flip the switch for good for you.